In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to get your video files from your camera into your Final Cut Pro project. So the first thing you have to do is connect your camera to the computer. It will have come with a USB cable. All you have to do is plug it into the computer at one end and into the camera at the other end and turn the camera on. Once the camera's turned on, depending which camera you're using, you might get a prompt on the screen asking you to connect to USB. If you get this, press yes or select the option on the screen, which is what I'm about to do now, connect to USB. That should appear any second now. There we go, that's my camera connected to my computer. You will have a different icon, you'll have a different name, but as long as something appears on your desktop when you plug that camera in, then you know that it's there and it's working. So we need to open up the project file that we've already created. Last time we went up here and we found Final Cut Pro and we launched a new project, but this time we've already created our project and made sure it's all in the right folder. So we need to go to that project and double click it to launch it, because this is the project that we want to put the video files into. If you're following the steps straight through, yours might already be open. So then we need to tell Final Cut whereabouts in here we actually want to store those rushes, that footage, when we import it. So in this top left window here, you can see all these folders. In Final Cut, they're called bins. So let's create a new bin. So if you right click or control click, you'll get this options tab. And we want to select new bin. And we're going to call it rushes, so that we can put all of our footage, all of our rushes in that folder, and it's organised and we can find everything we need easily. So to tell Final Cut that we want this particular folder out of all of them, we just want to click on it and right click, or if you don't have a mouse with a right click control function on, then control click. And we want to select set logging bin. So you can see that that icon appears at the side. This is the bin that Final Cut will now import all of our files into. So now we go File, Log and Transfer, and this window will appear. All of our footage should load in this top left window where the spinning wheel is. Depending on how much footage you've got on your camera, it could take quite a while if you've got a lot of footage to import for it to actually load into this window, so you have to be patient. If nothing's happening, it could be because your camera isn't turned on, because it's not properly connected to your computer. So check the USB cable. And if it's still not working, sometimes Final Cut prefers for the camera to be connected before it's being launched. So you can try shutting down Final Cut, connecting the camera first, and then launching your Final Cut project afterwards. But if you connect your camera correctly, this is what should happen. All of your footage will appear in this window. So to get it into that rushes folder that we've just created, all you have to do is select a file and drag and drop it into this window. This spinning wheel will appear, and you can see this is the duration as that clip loads into our project. So if you want to select a few clips at once, you could click on this one and then hold down the shift key and select as many as you want. As high up as you click, it'll select them all. So you can drag all of those in at once if you wanted to. If you wanted to select just a couple, you can click and then hold down Command while you select another. Hold down Command while you select another. So you can drag those in like that. Or you can tell Final Cut you want a particular part of one of these clips, so you don't have to import the whole thing. So perhaps in this clip, you can see I go forward and back again and again, do the same thing over and over. So perhaps I just want the last part. So we need to tell Final Cut which part of this clip we want to import by putting in and an out. If you press I, you can see this little triangle appears. That's an in. And then if we move the cursor further down to the end of the clip and we press O on the keyboard, that's an out, and you can see an opposite facing triangle appears. So this highlighted section is the bit of this clip that we've now selected by telling it where the in is, where the start is, and where the out is, where the stop is. So now when we drag that clip in, it's only going to import that section there. So you can see, as we've been importing, those clips have started to appear in that rushes bin that we created. And if you hide Final Cut, Command H, and have a look in the folder that we created in step 1, in the Capture Scratch folder, there's now another folder, and it's full of the files that you've just been importing from your camera. So the Capture Scratch folder is where all of your footage is kept. It's not kept inside the project that we've just imported it to. If you delete these Capture Scratch files, then the project won't know what footage it's working with, which is why everything in this folder is important, and you need to keep it all. And if you're moving your work from one computer to another, you need to take this entire Final Cut project folder with you wherever you go, because it needs all of this information. So back in Final Cut Pro, you've imported your files, your video files from your video camera, but perhaps in this edit there's some footage that you'd like to use that isn't footage that you filmed on your video camera. Maybe you filmed it on your iPhone. Perhaps there's something from YouTube that you've downloaded that you want to use, or there are some stills or photographs you want to put in your video. The way to get those into your project is to select File, Import Files. Just like any other program, you find your file, which you ideally will have put in the folder that we created earlier, in your Final Cut Projects folder with everything else. Again, because if you move computers and you take this folder with you, but you leave this YouTube video somewhere else, then it won't work. So select the footage, the picture, the video, whatever it is that you've put in your folder, choose, and it just brings it into the project nice and easy.